Hello and welcome to day 2 of week 4 of split 1 of the 2020 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and I have a question about statues. Before we get to that, I need to introduce some non-statues. Skimmy, Spawn and Rusty, gentlemen, welcome.
Hey,
How are you?
yeah, good. It's a weird conversation to start this one off, but it was a big
wondering
conversation.
where you're going to transition this in based on what we just heard pre-show. How are you going to incorporate this into the discussion here?
I can't pay attention to anything because the fault back in my ear is like triple repeating everything that you guys are saying and everything I'm saying. I can hear myself 3 times.
3 times.
Must be heaven.
Oh, God.
So Rusty and I were having a conversation before we got started, and we were talking about what is the most famous statue. And then you got me, because I said it would probably be David.
Yeah.
And then you brought up,
Statue of Liberty.
and I was like, shit.
Nah, well, are you saying of all time or right now?
See, that's like, we had this exact conversation after as well. We're not sure
Because
yet.
more people have seen Statue of David, surely.
Do you...
Because it's been
Yeah.
around for so long, Nick.
Yeah.
Like, time
yeah.
is just on its side. The French didn't build the Statue of Liberty until
But do you reckon
Declaration of Independence or whatever.
that today I reckon there are people in countries that are there's just other countries who have not seen David but have seen Statue of Liberty, because Statue of Liberty is so ubiquitous pop culture wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty.
You see about it in school, you read about it as like the American thing.
You see it blown up in like
Yeah,
every second
definitely.
action movie.
Absolutely.
Is there a statue that's more famous than both, though?
Yeah, what about the big one of Jesus
in Brazil.
If you don't know
Brazil.
the name of it, it doesn't
No,
count.
but I'm
You
just...
can't say
No,
the
you-
big one of Jesus.
I know what you're referring
Isn't
to.
it in Rio de Janeiro or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
the one you're talking about.
You got to do like a
well,
massive mountain climb to get
Look,
to it.
I'm not a religious man, Nick, but I do try and keep up to date with my statues, and I
Mount
think that is a pretty big one.
Is Mount Rushmore a statue?
No, it's a mount.
It's a sculpt.
It's a carving.
carving.
So is Statue of Liberty a statue? Is there a statue? Is there a statute of height limitation on statues,
I don't think so.
or is it more like a structure?
It's a structure. Well, they're both structures.
Standalone structure.
Is the Statue of Liberty?
Oh, this is
I'm so sorry to
content.
everyone who tuned
This is
in.
actually content right here.
Is the
eh?
Statue of Liberty?
If anyone ever wanted to know how we prepare for the OPL, this is the conversations that we
Yeah,
have. So
absolutely.
We're very prepared for the show.
On the air,
is.
right here, getting it
That
done.
is definitely a statue.
It's definitely a statue.
Okay.
Wow.
Is that the most famous monument?
Oh, the Sphinx.
The Sphinx.
Ooh.
Oh, well, that's true,
Yeah, I think
actually.
that just by default wins.
Yeah, that actually just takes the crown.
Well,
straight
that beats the age thing of David.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
And I would say that everyone who knows of Michelangelo's David knows of the Sphinx, even though it's not necessarily the first thing.
You
that
learn
comes to
about it in
mind.
like primary school or something with the Egyptians.
That. Well, I mean, that
like
makes sense.
all
You
the
don't
kids-
learn about
all
it with
the
the
kids-
French, do you, Skinny?
Well, you don't, mate. You definitely don't.
Okay, my final question before we get to the rest of the League of Legends content that we contractually are obliged to show you is define fame. Because if it's not the first thing you think of, does it actually count as being the most famous? Like, the most amount of people might know about it.
Oh, okay.
But you go Statue of Liberty and everyone goes, oh yeah, and then it took chat to say Sphinx. I'm just saying.
So, like, if the question then is, we think of something, first thing that comes to your head, is that the most famous?
Yeah, because it's like the most front
I don't
of
think so,
mind.
because the actor that comes to my head when I think of actor isn't the most famous actor.
It's Michael Bolton.
At the moment, it's probably Andy Samberg, but you know what I mean? He's definitely not the most famous actor.
Who is it?
Who's the most famous actor?
No, who are you thinking?
I was thinking of Andy Samberg. But yeah, it might be someone like
Rock.
Dwayne
Isn't it
Johnson.
just like
No,
that?
it's Tom Cruise. It's Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, for sure.
Doesn't it become like that
The
rabbit
most
hole?
famous actor in the world?
I don't know. I think if
Definitely.
you show someone a picture of The Rock, everyone knows who that is.
If you show my grandmother Tom Cruise and The Rock, She's like, that's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but they're dying out,
and
Nick. What about all the
he's-
kids?
He's broken. He's a broken ball
He's
thing.
broken, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean? All the kiddies coming up. Anyone under the age of 11, no idea who Tom Cruise is.
There are some 11-year-olds watching right now. I want you to let me know whether or not you definitely
Whereas
know who
everyone
Tom
knows
Cruise
who
is.
Maui is.
know
Everyone
who Tom
knows who The
Cruise
Rock is. Everyone knows a People's Elbow.
No.
No one knows Top Gun.
No. Will Smith.
Will Smith is definitely
Maybe
up
he
there.
bridges both genres.
He does, yeah.
Derma says next segment. I haven't heard of him. Caitlin says Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay.
No,
That's
Leo
pretty
definitely
famous.
not. Like Leo, I feel like. Oh, but maybe we're also being a little bit whitewashed right now because maybe there's like a Bollywood superstar. Or
That doesn't count because
No, but like
we
Nick,
don't know them.
Doesn't
then-
it become...
But it's the most famous, so we're saying it from our point of view.
I was gonna say, doesn't
I
it
feel
become
like you need to take
opinion?
your rose-tinted glasses off for a second, Nick, and be a little bit more
Definitely, but
culturally sensitive.
my argument would be that in India they get all of like Will Smith's movies.
Do they?
I assume so. Because
China
it's
had
just-
constant airings of English movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they do because I used to go and watch them, and the cinemas
But
were
only
very
select
empty.
ones.
Arnie. LMAO-LP.
Nah, no one under 12 knows who Arnold Schwarzenegger is.
What's the criteria though to define fame? Like, are we talking like how widespread? Like,
Yeah,
these movies are being seen in China and other non-English speaking countries, or just like if you were to say their name in a conversation, people would go, "Oh yeah, I know who it is."
Well, I think it's that. I think it's just the most amount of people.
Like, who has the
Reach.
The way I think of fame
Global
is who
reach.
struggles to walk down the street the most.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
Billie
I don't think The
Eilish.
Rock walked anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the
Like-
Sphinx.
The Sphinx ain't walking anywhere.
But you know what I mean?
The
Like,
Rock doesn't.
technicality.
Tom Cruise doesn't walk anywhere. Tom Cruise does
He
not walk
runs
anywhere.
everywhere, doesn't
Nah,
he? He jumps
if,
out of
if
planes.
Tom Cruise
Yeah,
rocked up
yeah,
in
yeah.
Australia, we would leave him alone. We want nothing to do with him.
We would not.
I'd
We'd
get a
crush him
photo with The
underfoot,
Rock.
but we would absolutely know he's there. Jackie Chan also a good option.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jackie Chan's
that's
definitely up
for
there.
sure.
He
Jackie
covers
Chan's
bound.
for sure.
Yeah,
option.
yeah.
I heard the intake of breath in my ear, which is definitely a producer about to say, "What are you doing?" Continue
Get
with the
on with it.
broadcast. And so we will. Welcome back to the OPL. We are back for another evening, the last of this week. The games coming up, some teams of which were not featured yesterday. Let's take a look at the rundown. The games we have on today. Today's schedule: Legacy versus Avant, Game 1. The Chiefs take on Pentanet.gg for Game 2. Gravitas versus Avant for Game 3. And then Direwolves and Mammoth for Game 4. So 2 showings today for Avant. And that's it.
Yeah, Legacy off the back of their loss as well against AV. It'd be an interesting game.
Oh, you just had to rub it in, didn't you?
Oh,
Rusty?
yeah.
No one else was going to mention it. We're all going
Yeah.
to be good boys.
Sure.
Croc, very good carry performance. If you actually go back and watch that video back, he took all of top lane farm and then
Yeah.
got full topside jungle clear into fresh camps reset, and Babip was too low. And that was like actually the turning point in the game, because I think that there's one thing to be able to capitalize and see that play, which Croc was able to, but then to be able to carry from the jungle role is something that we haven't seen for a very long time. So I was impressed by Croc. Legacy, however, get to show their mettle as a team. Bounce back, Avant middle of the road at the moment. You know, you would say 4th or 5th in the OPL probably. Maybe, yeah.
5's a good number for them.
4 to 6,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. And I think that this is a good opportunity to be able to hurt Legacy while they're down.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I think Avant have always been that wild card. They definitely gave it to them on week 1, day 1.
Yeah,
so
maybe should have won it.
Quite honestly, I want to see if they've still got that resolve and that mental, as you highlight. Whilst Legacy are in that situation, or if Legacy are just going to come in with such vengeance and anger about how they beat themselves up and to say, look, Avant, like, move aside.
Yep.
Is Avant the team that's playing with Violet or Guncrab?
Yep.
They're playing with Guncrab today for game
Yeah,
1
yeah.
at least. But
Correct.
I would have liked to have seen Ultraviolet play.
2 games today, they might.
Yeah, he's a little bit more lane kingdom, whereas Guncrab
Yeah.
does, like, even though he won lane against Raze and Isles last time, he does take me as someone that maybe could take it to them a little bit more in that
A bit more
lane
volatile,
phase.
yeah.
That final game last night was just so exciting. Normally, I dream of Tom Cruise every night because he's so famous, but I dreamt of Croc last night.
Well, apparently you didn't sleep last night.
He's a
so
monster.
I, think
I
you're
did
lying
not,
on
and I
both
think it's because I
accounts.
was so hyped up. Speaking of hype, we have a competition running, the anime competition. We want to see your anime artworks.
Thank
Please
God it's
send
that
them
competition.
in to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag OPL Anime for your chance to win a champion skin from the Blood Moon range this time. And if you don't have the champion for the skin that you select, you also get the champion. I also want your Nick Bag questions. We got a double Nick Bag special coming up. So the weirder, the more personal, the more intense, the deeper. We love them. We love them all. Send them into asknickboy@gmail.com. And finally, at the end of the show, we are going to be picking the winner of the painting competition selfie. So for those of you who don't know, we're going to be painting one of you guys. Send us a selfie on Twitter at OPL, at NickBoy, using the hashtag ImOPL. We will pick the best one.
Are we each picking one?
At the moment, I've been told to only pick one, but I feel like we should pick a few.
Well, what I'm going to say,
Yeah,
before any of this starts,
please.
is with Nick Bag,
Yeah.
we want things that are interesting, you know, maybe a little
Discussion
bit
points.
different, maybe, you know, can be a little bit left to center.
Yep.
When it comes to your photos, 3-piece suit, no skin showing, formal attire
No
only.
skin showing,
No
so we
skin-
need you in a full
I
gimp
want,
suit.
I want
Far
gloves and scarf included in this
right.
outfit because I've been getting DMs,
Yeah,
and I'm a family man, Nick.
yeah.
And people have been
have
sending
places.
submissions to
You
you, Jake.
people are not appropriate.
Oh, there are some just twisted folks watching right now. And I love all of you. Thank you
Did
for
you get
sending in your
DMs
submissions.
or photos?
It is time to look at the lineups for today. The first team, we're going to be looking at Legacy. What have they brought us? Is it the same as last night, Rusty?
So far, it'll be the exact same. Topoon, top lane, Babip in the jungle, M&S, mid lane, Raze, and Isles are your bottom lane. Jensen's still going to be there, the coach behind them. And yep, the exact same roster as yesterday.
It's a good roster.
It is very good roster.
It's not as good as the Chiefs, apparently, but it's still pretty good.
I like the concept they had yesterday where they really kind of changed up the style. They were kind of like that, if you go into the matchup between them and Chiefs a lot more explosive, a lot more sort of team fight heavy, whereas Legacy liked to play the macro, the side lanes, and sort of let Eminez run the show. He definitely didn't have as much fun as he usually has had, kind of met his match, but I think they sort of re-innovated in the sense of, you know, level 1 dives.
So you like that? So hang on a second. So the way I saw the game yesterday going is if we're anywhere near a kill a minute, the Chiefs were going to whoop their bum. And if the game was slow, Legacy were going to win. You like the fact that Legacy deliberately tried to play Chiefs game's plan and then ultimately lost the game? Because if I'm Jensen at the moment, the belt came out last night. Legacy do not play the game at a kill a minute. That is just not their style at all.
There's a part of me that says like they wanted to try and really bring it to Chiefs to try and upset them, given the fact that they had the Ornn to try and get maybe some tempo and try and find a strong lead.
I love Ornn.
Yeah, definitely Rusty
Big
loves the
fan
Ornn.
of
So I mean,
Ornn.
that's my personal take on it. Obviously, it didn't go that way, but it was kind of nice to see that they could flip the switch against different opponents to sort of match up what that respects.
And I didn't think Ornn was, I thought Ornn was very strong, but I didn't think he was broken must-pick ban, as you've seen from a lot of order drafts.
Yeah.
And I've copped a lot of flack from it. But Thien made me think Ornn was broken. Because
Yeah.
he didn't touch a champion the whole game and somehow, still is undefeated. he landed one knock-up that I saw the entire time with his headbutt. He just ran past pillar after pillar, Rusty, like you would not believe. And he still was able to have a huge impact on the game. So maybe Ornn's just disgusted.
Rusty's passive.
Rusty had strong opinions. You should check out last night's broadcast. The lineup for AV. Let's get it up so we can get into it. Check.
Draco in the top lane, Lisa in the jungle, Chazit up in the mid lane, Donkrab and Appy in the bottom lane. Max is going to be their coach. Lisa has been really touted as one of the best carry junglers as the meta has started to swing back in that fashion. Maybe his last opportunity to be able to play them today because the Cinderhulk patch is coming. Winter is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and the carry junglers everywhere are quaking in their boots as Sejuani once again beckons the call to be able to be picked back up in the OPL.
Tanks are just around the corner. Everyone needs to be careful. Even Maokai's creeping back, and that's the last thing we need.
We do not need more Maokais.
What we do need is your Ask Nick Boy questions. AskNickBoy@gmail.com for the Nick Bag. Let's get into game number 1. It is Legacy versus Avant, and it is on right after this.
The very first game of the day, we're going to kick it off with Avant Gaming taking on Legacy. It's a repeat match. It's week 1 all over again. We've seen how these teams are coming to week 4. Legacy 6-1, hot off the defeat from the Chiefs. Avant Gaming, however, hot on their heels. Definitely looking to try and climb up that ladder. Sitting at 2-4 so far. Looking to see if their explosive early game aggression can really try and upset Legacy in this current state.
And that's really interesting that we've seen a Lee Sin ban from Avant Gaming. Lisa has played so much Lee Sin, Skippy.
Yeah.
And whilst Babip does play it, certainly not his most famous champion. I would say something like Jarvan, certainly a little bit higher preference for the Legacy lineups jungler, in saying that, once again, Eminez is not going to be able to play that LeBlanc. Zoe also being banned away. We saw Order have high priority on that. No one else really touched it for yesterday, however. Does hit the bench.
This is interesting. If Philios was not chosen in that first pick slot, Gunkrab definitely quite comfortable on that one. They've gone for the Karma, so they've definitely got a plan.
very early on into this one, Ispawn.
Yeah, they must, and I think this has to be like a fast push style. When you had a look at Avant last year, when they played around Gunkrab, he was really good at things like Ziggs in the bottom lane. When you see something like Karma just blind pick, you expect the Ziggs to follow up immediately, because one thing that Aphelios doesn't have in his kit, Skin Moss, is a very good wave clear, and that's what Ziggs is going to excel at. I'm really glad that I called that, by the way.
You're on the ball as soon as
People
you
at
say
home
it.
are like, look at this guy, he doesn't know anything
He knows
about
what he's
League of
talking
Legends."
about, guys.
Also, we didn't scrim Avant this week either, so this isn't leakage. This is just good analytical work.
Well, the response is pretty quick out from Legacy so far. Topoon's already played the Soraka in the top lane. It is still 10.3, so top Soraka does work. The area Dinar going to be a nice little talking point here. And we'll have a little cute interaction, I suppose, with Lisa when that Ragnarok gets procced. Still can't get silenced.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that Lisa went towards the Olaf. We already mentioned it, but terrain control kind of ruins Olaf's day. You don't want to get stuck in a Cataclysm. You don't really want to get stuck behind silences and the like and have to pop your ultimate early. So I feel like Lisa's going to struggle in this composition just a little bit. Also, it's really hard to run through Aphelios turrets as Olaf. I'm sure people at home have discovered that a lot.
Yeah.
So his role is to be able to get control of jungle and allow Gunkrab and Appy to be able to really shove down these turrets early. But I feel like their comp so far is going to fall off a cliff in the late game, right? The Avant Gaming comp just does not scale as well as what we're seeing on the Legacy screen at this point in time.
That does definitely seem to be the mantra here from Avant Gaming, all about the early game pressure. Sometimes it's worked, other times it definitely has crashed and burned. Very excited to see how they flash out these last two picks to give us maybe an aggressive early game that sort of showcases Bloodbath Chaos like we saw on display. But the bans come out, 2 bans on tanks for Legacy. The response definitely targeted towards that mid lane with Lucian and Syndra taken off the board.
Yeah, what you want to be able to get rid of is like that long-range engage, because what Ziggs excels at in the mid to late game is if you hit a long-range engage and he can just throw his bomb down, it's a big chunk out that you're going to have to spend a lot of time of using Soraka's resources to be able to heal back up, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want that to exist. There is some genuine one-shot potential there as well coming out of the Ziggs. I was going to say Leona ban, a little bit surprising in that regard, because I do expect it to be a support Karma. However, obviously good to get rid of some of those options down there as well. So it's going to be a heavy kill lane coming through from Legacy. With jungle assist, this actually can be a winning bottom side. However, just pressure lanes being picked up right now for Avant.
Yeah, looking for some meaty presence. The portal that can come in there from Ryze, maybe to try and readjust and just jump on that backline. Because if I'm looking at what Legacy have so far, they have a lot of protection to make sure that Ryze is a safe AD carry.
And I like this. They've got such a good comp at counter-engaging on the side of Legacy. And we know that Avant have to run at them, right?
Yeah.
So I really like the comp count coming out of Legacy. The only thing that I think Avant has going in their favor is if they get ahead, they have a really good 1-3-1, and the 3 is not breakable. And what I mean by that is you have Karma wave clear, Ziggs wave clear, Olaf wave clear. So even if this team A-rams against them, there is enough access to the wave for the 3 to just be like set up stationary turret style and be able to support that mid lane wave. And then you've got, obviously, mixed damage on the side lanes in your Aatrox as well as the Ryze. So they should be able to win a 1-3-1 if this game goes late enough. Even a 1-4 should be quite successful for the Avant Gaming lineup. But once again, these Soraka comps just scale like forever. If you have the patience to be able to play out the team fights well, if you've got the damage, which they do in Cassiopeia as well as at Aphelios, then these comps can really just go all day. Up until 6 items, Legacy are going to continue to ramp.
Continue ramping up there with their pressure, their power, the levels. Definitely going to get them some love in this regard. I suppose also to that motion, given that the burden is on Avant to try and invade, to try and find that love. That's a very scary face check that they're going to have to make, especially like, you know, against the Fresh, you know, the Soraka, the Cassiopeia. You know, you face check any of those, suddenly that fight turns on its head. It's going to be a very scary situation for them. But as always, we do have Coach Jensen from Legacy on standby. Bit of a disappointing result yesterday. I'm sure you felt it and went home and maybe didn't sleep as well as you would have liked, but you come into a fresh day looking to finish out the week 1-on-1. Has anything changed, or was it just business as usual for you boys?
I would say it's more or less business as usual. We looked at the games yesterday. I guess you could say that the pressure got to them a little bit, and maybe on the record, on the scoreboard, it might have been a loss. But for the viewers who caught that game, if you didn't catch the game, go watch it. It's a definite win for the viewers out there.
And talk to me kind of about the Soraka comps that we're seeing at the moment, because they do seem to be requiring a little bit more patience than maybe we're used to seeing in the OPL, but internationally seem super strong.
So there's two types of approaches to Soraka. There's the LCK approach, where they're trying to deathball the Soraka, where you are trying to group up and then 5v5 the Soraka, which is what I do believe Hanwha Life started out in the LCK. And then there's the G2 school of thought of Soraka in Europe, where what they want to do with Soraka is create a split push composition where it's very difficult to engage on the likes of Soraka. So what I've created here with the 1-2 punch of Cassiopeia is that now we have the silent option of Cassiopeia, should we want to play the European style. And if the team decides, hey, let's ARAM it, we can play towards that as well because we have the superior death ball.
And talk to me about your surprising draft, I guess, when they let through the Aphelios and insta-locked the Karma. Did you see something like this fast push bottom lane coming out of the Avant Gaming lineup?
Well, when I was scouting the solo queue accounts, I noted that RP was playing a lot of mage support, so this is the possibility that we're looking for in this particular combination. I guess say that it's a nice surprise to have, but I think we are prepared for it.
Well, we'll leave you to it for the meantime. We're going to crack on here with Legacy taking on Avant. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And we'll see how things go on for this one here, Spawn. Early game pressure. The ball is in the court here for Avant to try and make this flex pick in the bottom lane. I believe, unless I'm wrong, this is the first time we've had a mage bot lane. I don't believe we've seen anything apart from the standard likes of, you know, your Senes, Aphelios, and Misfortunes.
I mean, we've seen different kinds of bottom lanes. We saw an Aurelia bottom lane. I don't know whether that really counts as a mage or what you're looking for, but I think we've seen different forms of bottom lanes for sure in the OPL so far. But certainly our first zigs that we've seen, this split. Really interesting to talk about the map split here just for a second. You see that Lisa's gone towards Machete. That means that he really wanted the split. You don't want to have to start your red side of the map with Machete because it's just not a very good Raptor clear. Babip, however, does have pushing topside and pushing mid lane, which means that he actually will not get shoved off camps right now. You know, in the 1v1, would struggle, but with the rotation of Soraka, with the fact that Cassiopeia can leave lane as well, he shouldn't go down in farm this time around. It will be interesting, however, to see whether Olaf can maintain that map split after this first phase. However, mid lane action, flash in.
Looks to be the case right now, forcing Chaz to back away. The rotation as Babip steals away that camp. Hook very close to Gunkrab, who is starting to get quite low as is his counterpart in Karma, so you can see that they are definitely getting the push on, but at heavy resource cost.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Babip, once again, just returns to that top side of Summoner's Rift. This is what we said. They do have pushing lanes. Aatrox going to have to outplay this dive.
Getting flashbacks to yesterday with a level 3 dive right now. Tapoon going to tank 2, going to tank 3. Draku going to fall on down with the beautiful banana. Get your 5 a day of vegetables and fruits, and definitely Tapoon happy with that first blood.
Yeah, that was really, really nicely played. And you can see Tapoon had the push, had control of the wave, and now is 9 CS and a kill up. So this Soraka going to be very accelerated skimmy in the early game. Bottom lane, not even really able to push just yet. Already had to send Appy back to base. You can see Gunkrab sticking around by himself. I would expect a recall and a teleport to come out, but he's going to be nowhere near that blue book just yet. So it should be continual hard laning for the bottom lane. Is an 8 CS lead that you can see already 500 gold lead for the Legacy lineup. Goodbye, Chaz.
Chaz without mana, gets the phase rush proc. Eminez looking to try and chase that one through. Going to tank the tower twice of Lee Sin. Not close enough to force something out, or is he? I take my words back as he flashes in. He denies the jungler. Will find some rewards.
And that's
can
big.
avenge Chaz.
The reason that he went for jungle there is they want to reimpose this map split. And as soon as he takes junglers off the map, and you can see teleport back did come in from Gunkrab, now you have bottom lane in Raze, who has not shopped, hasn't used the teleport, and can be dove here. 4 members coming down.
4 members looking for this one. Isles gets the lantern out. And Raze takes it to safety.
I mean, this is fine, right? You're going to get minimum at 2 plates here and deny the entirety of the wave. Very surprised that they're not sticking around to hit this turret a little bit more. They are so safe in this composition. They did catch out exactly where Babip was, so it wasn't like they were expecting a gank or anything to come through. No teleports on the Legacy lineup. I really do think that Avant missed a trick there. That should have been a complete denial of the wave skimmy. And with these fast push compositions, you do have to be willing to play them so damn aggressively. If you do not, if you play kind of this hesitant style, you eventually will get outscaled.
Yep, if you don't stick to the plan. Then the opponent will start to play into their own fold. They do decide to back away and opt for the Drake instead. Infernal on the board for them. And we are going to see Tapoon being the lane bully that we know Soraka so strongly accustomed to with that Starfall. the free heals that come out from the rejuvenation, and just the insane amount of wave clear it provides. You can just watch when it comes into those caster minions. Pretty much two-shots them.
Yeah, and the thing is with Aatrox, you really want to play in your lane, in your wave, because you want to be able to use your ability on the waves. You generally out-push people that way, out-trade. But Soraka has the exact same play pattern. But with the added bonus of being able to put down the silence field that completely destroys Aatrox's stage.
Yeah.
He is very slow, however, has got good mobility out of the E. But obviously the silence field going to ruin that mechanic. So I really do think that Topoon will be able to pick winning trades in this matchup. When I see a Soraka, I prefer to either match scaling, something like a set or an Ornn, or if you can't do that, I really do believe you have to play kind of like a mage kill lane. I'm sure that Tally, my old top laner, would love to play something like a Victor or a Rise into it, right? Something that would be able to potentially run it down and kill it at around that level 9 mark. I feel like Draku has not gone with either of those. Just gone with what is a traditional lane bully.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you can bully out this new style of pick in the top lane.
Possibly preparing for 10.4, but it's not here just yet, so he's having a hard life right now. You can see Topoon fully topped up there. Just instantly clearing that out. Kind of a few levels into that Starfall so far.
You can see that he enforces... Oh, actually, hits the turret. I was going to
Look
say,
at
he
it.
might have been able to enforce some little mini freeze there. However, just plays for CS. Probably going to play for push here as well. Blue Book finally picked up for the Ziggs, however, when you check in with the fact that CS now equalized Skimmy, despite the good early work from Lisa trying to split the map for his carries. I don't think the Ziggs has really got enough done yet to kind of justify letting through a Philios, the strongest champion on the current path.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to see something crazy come out. Once they hit that level 6 mark, they obviously do have all summoners available in the bottom lane right now. It's still jungle and mid that are without. Both now have blue buff online, so going to stick to the tier stacking minigame.
And this is a problem if you get pushed in the mid lane, right? You can see that Appy and Gunkrab want to play really far up their lane, but as soon as Eminez just walked in behind them, I mean, your choices are call the bluff and hope he comes down and you can maneuver the gank, or back away and not get the push. And you can see now how much lane control Isles has, and they're completely zoned off this wave.
What I was just going to highlight, look how much vision control Legacy have in that river right now. They are solely relying on that Tri-Brush control ward to basically scout out if Babip decides to get aggressive. A rotate comes through from Eminez. So they do have the lane wards, as you saw on screen there, to try and catch those rotations that may come out, but Chaz will have the advantage when that teleport does come back online to maybe try and threaten something again.
And Ray's now up in CS, despite not using his teleport to get back to lane. He's done a really, really nice job in this laning phase so far. And, yep. Feel like they've kind of missed their window bottom lane here. They're not getting the lanes, the map split anymore. You can see that Legacy quite content to play away from the Soraka. And instead, it's just a little bit of bouncing waves. I wonder if they can get a recall in here and go for something like a Rift Herald top. Because otherwise, the scaling factor is just slowly going to start becoming a legitimate win condition for Legacy.
Slowly felt like the priority in that lane was changing. As you could see, Isles getting very aggressive with level 6 online, able just to basically hook a target and ensure they're going to fall on down. Depending on what Raze has online with his weapons, you're guaranteed CC overlapping. But Lisa will rotate through, picking up that call, as you rightly say, going for the Rift Herald. So Drake and Rift Herald online. Still keeping to plan 10 minutes into this one. Objectives are in their possession. They need to get some turret platings with this to try and build that gold lead in their favor. Down 500 currently.
Yeah, and I think that the area they would really like to get ahead is Chaz, because you've already mentioned that, Jensen already mentioned that they can play that 1-4 style around the Cassiopeia, use that Soraka ultimate to be able to help out the side lane. And that means Rise needs some support in this game if he's ever going to be able to go toe-to-toe. This is one of those interesting matchups where, depending on who you speak to, they either think Rise wins or Cassio wins. I think traditionally Cassiopeia has been the stronger laner, does draw more damage, but obviously Rise's mobility through both Phase Rush in this matchup, as well as the fact that he can buy boots too. And Merc Treads are just really, really crucial in a lot of these matchups that involve CC. And obviously Cassiopeia, because she doesn't have any feet, can't buy them Skimmy. So I think there are windows where Rise can play around, but I would favour, you know, MNS's Cassiopeia as this game goes on.
Well, the rotation of the bottom lane does take place, as you would have seen Lisa taking the Rift Herald on his own beforehand. Topoon quite happy sitting in the top side right now, but both junglers are going to meet in towards mid now. Both flashes are available. So if that 2v2 were to take down, we may have seen an explosion of action take place.
And I like this swap, right? What you can see right now, once again, there are no teleports available for the Legacy lineup. Topoon, no flash. I didn't see exactly how that was burnt, but it must have been from Drag Coup on the ultimate cooldown. That means they've now swapped into the top lane. They've got the Rift Herald up there. They've got Ziggs up there. This should nearly be like a 4-for-1 plate trade. If they're able to get it quickly enough, maybe then they can also rotate into the mid lane wave and start to generate some pressure as well. Teams are doing this more and more in the OPL, and Arrow was really critical of it on the alternative stream last night that Tally had going, about not bringing your AD carry at this point in the game into the mid lane wave. You know, Cassiopeia probably should be bot right now. You would expect for Raze to be on this mid lane wave trying to bully out the Rise. Instead, what they have is they've tried to hold traditional lanes.
Yeah.
And once again, like, they just haven't got all that much done bottom lane before this top lane turret breaks.
Wanting definitely to find as much value as they can before that plating does fall on down at 14 minutes in. So 2 minutes remain for Avant to try and find that window to really propel themselves forward in this state. But as you say, Legacy a little bit lagging behind when it comes to taking this bottom tower. It will fall down, it would seem uncontested at this stage.
I don't think they can actually get it. I mean,
but that minion wave's a fair bit away before it comes in to back them up.
Yeah, and I mean, turret plates are a fickle beast, right? They start to stack up the armor really, really quickly. So they might get it on this next wave that's coming in, but I think that this wave right here is a little bit of a pipe dream. And Super Mega Inferno Bomb can potentially come out, clear out this wave.
As you see.
Okay.
One minion is the Patriot that survives.
I really think that was Drag Coup's fault, right? You could see Gunkrab rotates down to try and help the turret. Drag Coup not posturing aggressively at all. Just kind of watching that fall down. I think that Avant, once again, maybe missed a little bit of a trick there. Now they're in their 1-3-1, but Raze is so damn accelerated, Skinny. You can see his item builds. Like, he is so strong at this stage in the game.
Going toe-to-toe with Gunkrab. Going to be an interesting one when we see that happen. And, well, knowing what we can with Aphelios in his range, it's definitely going to come into its own 20 minutes later.
Huh, and that's really interesting. Gunkrab actually goes back and buys himself
the Archangels.
Archangels. So normally we see Luden's picked up by the Ziggs.
Yep.
Obviously knows he's going to be playing majority of this game without a blue buff. Feels like he will potentially have mana pull issues, so goes for instead the highest mana item in the game. Arguably scales a little bit better. It's like the highest AP item in the game as well behind Rabadon's. But I'm not a huge fan, Skinny, not going to lie. Would like more immediate power. I said I do feel like they get outscaled, so not having the immediate power of Luden's right now for a siege like this, I think, is going to be a major factor.
Is an Ocean Rift, and we know how strong Ocean Souls can be when they come online. If you're looking at Legacy getting that on their side, very scary time. I find a situation where it's nigh impossible to try and kill anyone on that roster.
Legacy looking to win in 2 areas at the moment. You see they just burnt Gunkrab's flash, it looks like, on the mid lane wave, or maybe a summoner swap coming across, as well as the fact that they're taking top lane turret. So they're just winning everywhere right now, Skinny.
Inferno Bomb only going to clear out the melee minions, but as you say, the bottom lane ranged. The Wizards will be able to clear things out quite easily and have to wait until that next minion wave comes on through. Draku is pushing bot side right now, trying to find a reprieve in that regard, but Eminence is a split pushing and sort of assuming that 4-1 so early on.
And I think a lot of inexperienced teams are kind of falling into this trap of, you know what, they're giving us an easy trade, let's just take that.
Yeah.
When in reality, Legacy want to trade all day. You know, they've got themselves the Soraka, they've got themselves Cassiopeia, Aphelios. Like, if you go equal gold with this team, they're 3 items.
They're very happy.
They're very, very happy with the state of the game. I would argue that the Avant lineup probably not so happy with the state of the game if it gets towards 3 items early. Especially given the fact that, like, right now, Legacy isn't even. They're 1,500 gold up. That's a significant gold lead at only 15 minutes into the game. So, you know, questioning how effective this strategy has been so far.
Definitely haven't seen the magic, especially in the laning phase, pre-6.
Show me Soraka. There she is.
Soraka in a 1v4 situation right now. Going to have to burn that flash, going to have to burn that bramble as well to make sure that nobody can jump on through. Drake spawning in 40 seconds, so Avant unable to capitalize on that one. They may just rotate straight back to mid to prevent a mid push.
Yeah, potentially going to be a Rift Herald picked up here for the Legacy lineup, and you can see the gold lead just continuing to extend right now. Topoon being really disciplined there, ran the correct way, making sure he burned summoner spells to be able to get out safely. And I have to say that Legacy, from a defeat yesterday, have bounced back really, really well today. Maybe some early hiccups with that map split. However, since then, executing on the turret dive, being able to get all of their lanes equal farm, and they're just ahead everywhere.
Picking up the Herald. Going to top lane to collect that. Sitting in mid as well. Right now, Avant are just frantically pinging around, hanging in bot river, saying we need to do something. We're not finding XP, we're not finding gold. We need to find fights. A mini skirmish breaks that down to Babip, and that will result in his flash having to be utilized. Now Avant do turn the tide and say, well, let's get this objective in the bottom side right now. We need an Ocean Soul on our, an Ocean Rift on our end. Need some form of sustain, but Legacy once again just very happy to take these situations, just continue to pushing out structures, continue to open up the map, continue to scale.
Yeah, and the thing is, right now, you can see 3 members of Avant are actually on the top side, bottom side of the Summoner's Rift, while this Herald is still here, and there are 2 members mid. Gunkrab already used the Mega Inferno bomb, bottom
He's in
side.
a lot of trouble
He's
right
in trouble.
now. There's the flag and drag. He's rooted, he's cataclysmed, he's dead. Nothing else to say about that one. This tower now surely looking full. We're looking at potentially taking down an inhibitor. It's only 17 minutes into this one, and it is now exposed spawn.
And they just lost 2 inhibitors top lane, including an inhibitor turret. And they haven't got anything on the flip side of Summoner's Rift. Sorry, I was looking at the teleport coming through. This is desperation play right now.
Very desperation right now, but it's going to be Race to start things off with, playing with his food, because he just jukes and jives, he dances around. Now it's going to be a 2v2 situation because Dracuti teleported in. Chess is going to do the same right now. Race is very low, going to juke out that route, going to survive for a bit of time. Isles is buying as long as he can with the wish coming through from Tapoon right now, but Raze with no support cannot be protected. He will fall, but Lisa gets taken down. You can see the Eminez poison finding itself so strong in those choke spots, in those close quarter engagements. Draku going big, Flash is being burnt out. Babip now responds, buying some time. Tapoon survives, the silence comes down, the zone is there. Draku will have to back on out.
Look at
Members
these
alone,
bombs.
they have no mana on Legacy, solely reliant on what Babip can do. Gunkrab needs to find some bombs, needs to find some value with this Ziggs.
Oh, he's just missed everything.
He's just chucked it all out. He's popped that Barry. He's whiffed it majorly here, spawn. The respawn, the teleport in from the respawn of Race. He comes in, no resources on Legacy, but suddenly the AD carry with the Gravitum says hello.
Yeah, absolutely. Appy now getting run down. Lisa looking for something in return. However, that was
scrappy.
such a protracted team fight. And yeah, you're right. It was scrappy. I feel like there was a window there for Gunkrab to be able to turn that around. It looked like he saw it as well, bouncing over that wall. However, threw a couple of his spells into literal Narnia, as Bryce would like to say. And that means that it's a losing team fight. Also, this isn't a replay. This is a normal one. We're listening to a replay, however. And we're back.
And we're back.
There's a glitch in the Matrix, Skimmy.
I was watching in disbelief, wasn't quite sure what was going on there.
We were listening to the team fight and watching the live action. It was magical.
I'm worried now as an Avant fan. You know, you're behind a fair chunk of gold. You talk about the scaling factor that Legacy are so scary with. And after that last fight, you can start to see that mental fortitude almost starting to disintegrate before them. They're just unable to find the kills, unable to really propel themselves into a situation where they ever were truly ahead. And Legacy playing it patiently.
Yeah, and the nightmare scenario has occurred, right? Oh, hold the thought. In the fact that they're split pusher.
Hang on a minute again, hold that thought twice. Redemption might be the one, and he will need some help in that situation because mid lane is chaos. Redemption on Redemption. I'm talking double time on Legacy right now. Who takes the cream of the crop? It has to be Legacy again. Raze, the one they go for. Raze, the chosen, the protected. But he takes down 3. Legacy are hungry for more. Babip survives as he jumps onto Gunkrab. Members are low. They do get a shutdown. Very important for that one to try and get Gunkrab online. He's playing. He's got the cooldowns on fleek right now. He's got the CDR to boost right now. He's been hooked on in, but Babip's too damn low. They cannot contest this one. They need to disengage. They're going to find him, and they're going to connect.
I would expect this to nearly be Baron picked up for the Avant Gaming lineup. You can see how low Babip is, and they do have members coming back onto the map. Babip can't reset. However, it doesn't look like they want to go for it, Skimmy. I think that was maybe a call where you can run a couple of members towards hand. But you can see that playing a little bit more conservative. As you pointed out, the 2 redemptions in that fight were huge. Like, the fact that they were just able to zone off 2 major areas with damage and heals makes it really tough right now for AV to be able to teamfight. However, Gunkrab is doing a really good job of navigating around Babip's Cataclysm, being able to consistently output an absolute ton of DPS. We take another look at it. This one actually a replay. So Abby runs forward, gets splayed up, and takes most of his life. However, you can see the damage comes out onto Raid. It's a lot to take him down, right? They have to pretty much go through his health bar 3 times. Then it's a 4v2. Looks like it's going to be a successful team fight. But this is what I mean. The prepped satchel that is about to come through right now gets him out of any damage. Topoon starts to tank up the turret right now. No creeps left available. So shut down for Gunkrab. And Eminez can't recross through that turret range. He's too low. So that means we have an isolated 2v2. Support and jungle versus mid and 80 carry. Never going to go support in jungle's direction. If that bouncing bomb had have landed onto Leo, I think it would have been a potential major objective. However, it didn't. That means that Legacy still 3,000 gold ahead, still doing a very good job of controlling this game.
Looks like we're going to start to see some healing cut come online.
It's about
time. Gunkrab's just going to stick on that Oblivion all for a fair bit.
I think
definitely need it.
Actually needed it
I think that Raze team fight we literally just saw there clearly demonstrates you cannot deal with 3 health bars that many times over.
I mean, when you're looking at what there actually is here in the composition, you have double Redemption coming across, you have Athene, and you have Soraka. That already is so much healing. Not to mention the fact that Raze, 90% sure, would be running Legends Bloodline, which is so much self-healing coming across as well. This is one of those compositions that if you don't have the healing cut, you're really going to struggle to get through the health bars. I do like the death cap being picked up by Ryze because I think he's going to be matching Cassio.
Yeah.
So I think there is an excuse for him to not go healing cut in that situation, but I would expect a book to come out right now. Even for the Ryze lane.
Well, we're going to see that mid matchup go to the side lane right now, sitting top sides that are available to contest that Baron if a fight were to break on out. Mid lane seeming to still be the focus for Legacy. They broke down the tier 1 finally.
And I mean, this is another thing that Soraka comps do really well, is they pressure Baron like no other team comp.
Yeah.
Soraka and Aphelios, Soraka and Jarvan, they can just sit there, you know, never take any damage and be able... Oh, he's gone over the wall. That's a bold call. Show me Dragku. Oh, no. They've just ships in the night, Skimmy. Walked away from each other.
He's dashed, he's jumped, and he's bought time, which really gives the signal for Legacy. Hey, he is down here. Where is the vision right now for Avant? Quite deep. Not going to be able to contest this one as Eminez jumps on in. He's going to get the Ragnarok, he's going to get the flash, he's going to get the shield, he's going to get everything thrown at this one. What can he do? He can chuck an axe, but he can't do the damage. Eminez is Raze 2.0 because his health bar fluctuates. He will fall on down as Raze joins in with a Moonlight Vigil. It does literally nothing, and Avant holds strong.
Yeah, and the thing about Eminez is he giveth, but he taketh away so often, Skimmy. That was one of those situations where he flashed forward, got a huge ulti. As the fight may be continuing here, Lisa goes in.
They're jumping on in with the Ryze ultimate to try and start things off with. Lisa jumps in, but Raze gets there to kill. 2 members fall so far. They do take out Raze with Dragku picking that one up to his name right now. He needs some kills. He needs some threats as Babbitt gets escorted over the wall. The members are low. Topoon is flirting, but they don't have the range. They don't have the damage.
And these fights are so interesting, Skimmy. Because you can see Topoon, as long as he survives, will keep everyone healthy. However, if Executioners were brought up for that fight,
different story.
That would have been an ace. Eminez flash forward, got a huge ulti to start that one off. However, he was alone in that fight, like 1v4 style.
Yeah.
Topoon was trying his best to be able to save his mid laner, who has 250 CS and 3 completed items. So it's a pretty big deal if you can keep him alive. But obviously was not the case. Teleport now coming into the Baron area. And I honestly don't think Avant know.
They don't. They're blind. They're not going to get revealed by that scuttle wall. They're just going to start it on in. And this is going to be clean surprise. Hello. We've taken Baron.
That's really tricky. So what they did there is they went over the back of the pit, you know, with lanterns, with blast cones, with teleport, however. And they left Topoon, the only member that's really crucial to the Baron, out of it. Let's have another look at this. So this is Eminez flashing forward. You can see big stun, however, Cleanse also there. And the fact that he is so deep right now. And the rest of the team kind of moved down. You can make an argument if Babip and Isles runs back up, maybe they win that fight, but obviously wasn't the case. And then to continue to look for this push, I think is very aggressive. Hold the thought, because we're back live. Maybe some more teamfight action happening.
No rest of the wicked. These teams are inspired after day 1. 7 kills to 11 right now, but Draku finds someone, flashes on in, gets a 3-man knockup. Can he find the kills? But there's just so much to stay in. The book is online right now for Ziggs. But Raze with the chakrams. He is disgusting as the mark lands. It's a triple kill. He's looking for the Penta, the first one in the OPL to date so far. Can his team assist him? The redemption coming down to pad those stats. They juke, they jive. They say, okay, deny us this, but you can't deny us the Nexus. They're going to go for the turrets. The first one is to fall. The second one will explode. The Nexus in sight. Legacy are smiling. Legacy are winning. Legacy will take down Avant in 26 minutes.
Really nice performance from Legacy. I like the adaptation in style coming across from the Avant Gaming lineup, that ultimately he gave the perfect player, the best champion on the current patch, and he was able to carry out in those late game team fights. Just disgusting amounts of damage. Also, the fact that it took 3 items on Ziggs before any healing cut came out for the team, I think is something they would like to look back on.
Yeah.
And wonder, imagine if we didn't have to kill everyone on Legacy 3 times. Imagine if we only had to do it once. Interesting item builds coming across from Dragku there. When you're AD, it is so much more cost efficient for you to buy the healing cut. You know, whether it's going to be Dragku, whether it's going to be Lisa. I feel like that needed to come through a little bit earlier. However, credit to Legacy. We keep mentioning the fact that they lost yesterday because it was the first time in the season, but they bounced back very, very nicely today.
Yeah, definitely didn't show any signs of defeat in that performance there. Definitely coming in with conviction and showcasing a beautiful performance. But yeah, as you say, they bust out on the side of Avant. They bust out the Ziggs and Karma, something a little bit quirky, something a little bit different, just unable to really find the major early game start they were after to try and bring that online, starting with the turret, starting with really the gold lead not swinging in their favor. And Aphelios did Aphelios things. Crazy times in the OPL. The boys are back on the couch. We'll chuck it back to them for a nice interview.
Crazy times indeed. Rusty, definitive?
I mean, convincing in the end. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been a couple of shaky moments in there. I think that AV, in terms of draft, tried to throw the kitchen sink at Legacy, going for the Ziggs Karma, expecting the Aphelios and trying to push it in. But they didn't execute to the best of their ability, I would say, and Legacy handled it well, and that's all it really takes. You have the Aphelios, get the items, and start to snowball the game.
Raze, you did handle it well, especially considering that, you know, you had your first loss yesterday. How did you guys recover from that and come into today?
Yeah, we just had a rough week of practice and scrim, so obviously we had to focus. Like, we knew it was our most important game yesterday, but like, we ultimately blew it even after like that massive lead early. But Avant are pretty like average opponents, so we did expect to get this win pretty easily, to be honest.
And is that, even though they're not as much of a challenge as a team like the Chiefs, does this put you back on course? Is like a win and you just take it and it's a way of being able to move forward?
I think we'll be happy once like we start getting our practice and we're like, when we start being happy with our practice. But until then, like, I'm not going to be happy with just wins on stage. Like, that's what's been going on the entire split. We've just been winning because I just say the other teams, like, the league has gotten a lot worse compared to last year, in my opinion. But like, I don't think Chiefs are a 7-0 caliber team, but they are right now, so.
Alrighty.
And you guys are aiming towards end of split results, you would have to say, more than anything else, right? So this is just that really tumultuous middle of the split for you guys. So what's your plan to bring it back on course then as a team?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, we're just trying to iron out like our problems right now. Like, we know we have a lot of problems that we're trying to work on, and once we've got those done, like, I'm confident we'll win the split pretty easily.
All right, cool. Well,
Fantastic.
congratulations
Thank
on
you.
the win. We expected nothing less from you, and we expect nothing less from you guys than to see you after this break.
Flying as long as he can with the wish coming through from Taboon right now, but Raze with no support cannot be protected. He will fall, but Lisa gets taken down twice. Redemption might be the one, and he will need some help in that situation because mid lane is chaos. Redemption on Redemption. I'm talking double time on Legacy right now. Raze, the chosen, the protected, but he takes down 3. Legacy are hungry for more. Babip survives as he jumps onto Gun Crab. Members are low. He's going to get the flash, he's going to get the shield, he's going to get everything thrown at this one. What can he do? He can chuck an axe, but he can't do the damage. Eminez is raised 2.0 because his health bar fluctuates They're jumping on in with the Rise ult to try and start things off with Lisa jumps in, but Raze gets there. The kill. 2 members fall so far. They do take out Raze, but Draku picking that one up to his name right now. Now, but Draku finds someone, flashes on in, gets a 3-man knock-up. Can he find the kills? But there's just so much staying. The book is online right now for Ziggs. But Raze with the chakrams. He is disgusting as the mark lands. It's a triple kill. Legacy are smiling. Legacy are winning. Legacy will take down Avant in 26 minutes.
Introducing Macca's Mini Games. Play today and win on the My Macca's app.
Woo! Winning!
Every play wins one of your Macca's faves.